Meet me behind the school at 4 p.m. We need to talk. I can't believe this. It's like anywhere I went, there he was. I go to the lunchroom a bit earlier to beat the crowd, there's Tyler. After school in the hallways, there's Tyler. Even when I tried to go out of my way to avoid places at school I thought he'd go, there's Tyler. I go to sleep at night, there's Tyler. My mother's voice echoed in my head. Deep breath, Sarah. You need to be the one in control. And I close my eyes, focusing on my breathing. I need to protect myself. Welcome back to my Masquerader. Hi, if you're new here, my name's Para, your host, and today we're going to be playing He Watches Me. Now, because it's the spooky season, I decided to play something really spooky that will probably scar me just as much as the other ones have. But anyway, yeah, it's warning, the work of fiction, contains flashing lights, description of mature themes. Oh no, oh dear, oh well, I've already subjected myself to this horror, might as well. He's doing it again. He's watching me. I can feel it. I can feel his eyes on me. The way they drag over my back like slugs, leaving a gross, slimy trail that makes me shiver in disgust. I don't know when this started. I don't even know why this started. But it's been happening more and more frequently over the past few weeks. Every day I come into class with hope that today will be the day he finally casts his attention elsewhere. To the teacher. To the board. To his notes. To anything besides me. But no, it's always me. Of course it's always me. I sighed heavily. Well, this is starting off pretty, gruesome. Why does it have to be me? Out of everyone in our school, out of everyone in our class, why did I have to become the focus of his attention? I'm nothing special. I don't excel in any particular subject, and my grades are about average. I'm not into sports, and I'm not part of any clubs either, so it's not like I stand out from the crowd or anything. I have a few friends I get along with. My classmates for the most part. Definitely not a popular kid, but not a loner either. Plus, my new kid status wasn't around anymore. This is my third year here, so my time of being shiny and new was long over by now. It wouldn't make sense for that to be the reason. Thinking about the time, though, reminds me of the reason we moved. It was right after I entered middle school, right after the incident, right after my condition worsened. Ooh, so we do have a mental condition here? Okay, because she could be a bad guy, but then again, she could also just be sick. So I'm not gonna assume anything, even though that is what I kinda want. My hand reflectively went to my chest, lying on top of my heart as I focus on its beating. Thump. 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 Good. It's regular now. Since we came here, our home life has quieted. No more loud, noisy neighbors. No more inner city smog. No more late night knocks at the door. Just peace and quiet, the occasional howl here and there and the smell of trees. But all that peacefulness, all that tranquility was ruined now thanks to him. Every day I come to school was a day I dreaded. I used to look forward to it. When I was younger, I'd race out of the house every morning with the anticipation of a new day thrumming in my veins. Now? Well, now I only had one thing guaranteed to me about my day. Can I see him? His staring. Oh, is he hiding now? Did you see me? Peekaboo. Tyler's staring. Oh, come on. Ugh, gosh, I'm not even gonna judge it. Tyler was this unassuming, low-profile sort of guy who sat in the back of the class with his baggy jeans and black hoodie combo on every day. Not someone I would go out of my way to talk to. Not even really someone I tried to avoid, either. Well, until recently, when I would catch him staring at me every other day. The days I didn't directly catch him, I could still feel it. His black, soulless, lifeless eyes watching me. I mean, he's got nice eyes. All the time, just watching me. And I have no idea why he's watching me. I have no idea what I must have done to garner his attention so intently. I just have no idea. Well, this is going way more, how do I put it? This is going way more darkly than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was just gonna start like, ooh, wow, I wake up, I grab myself a piece of toast. Very anime style, you know what I mean? But it just goes straight into the action. Like, I haven't even commented this entire time. I'm so sorry. I caught myself, stopping my thoughts right there as I let out a long, slow, and shaky breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Ooh, nice little breathing sound effects. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay. You good now? You cool? I need to be careful. Be mindful of my breathing. Too quickly and I might raise my pulse. And if my pulse is too high, it could prompt another episode. My hand dropped from my chest, halting its motoring as I leaned over to open my book bag and take out my notebook. Mrs. Hemingworth just came into the room and was tapping on the board with her ruler to get everyone's attention so class was beginning. I welcomed the distraction. I wasn't necessarily thrilled about our first subject, but it gave me something to focus on other than the eyes that were glued to my back. And then we did homework! I sighed, leaning over my desk after putting away my pencil. That quiz took a lot out of me. I thought I was prepared for it, but I've been so distracted lately that I couldn't really focus. Since when did quizzes feel like exams? Hey, Sarah! So, how do you think you did? Jessica! My friend Jessica came over to me during the class break with a big smile on her face, and I could tell she must have had it easy with that quiz. I threw a rueful smile her way. I don't think I did very well, to be honest. She leaned forward with a knowing look in her eye. You didn't study again, did you? Nope. She sighed, her long blonde hair swaying side to side as she disappointedly shook her head. You used to be better about this kind of thing. Has something been on your mind these past few weeks? Oh, if only you knew. Ugh, Tyler. My eyes scanned the classroom over to Tyler's desk. It was no wonder I was able to relax right now. He had left the room. The empty seat was a sight for sore, very sore eyes, and even though I knew he'd be gone when I turned to look, I still let out an internal sigh of relief at the sight. As if a part of me had expected him to be there when I knew he wasn't. Since when has he made me feel this nervous just being in the same room with him? We've never interacted before. I can't even remember a moment where we even greeted each other, which honestly makes this whole thing all the more suspicious. Again, I'm brought to the question of, why me? Sarah? Oh, yeah, right, Jessica. What's up? Yeah, So I was looking at Tyler over there, what an asshole. Jessica's hand waved in front of my face, bringing my attention back to her. Yeah? Did you hear what I said? Oh, no, sorry, what did... She gave me a light sigh. I was asking if you'd like to come over this weekend. A huge grin spread across my face, and I could feel the dark cloud of my paranoid thoughts dissipating already. I'd love to. She matches my grin, sitting up with a light bounce. Good! Be sure to bring your notebook. I'm going to run equations with you until you can do calculus blindfolded. Wait, what? My surprise must have shown on my face because Jessica immediately started laughing. You really didn't hear what I said a minute ago, did you? She placed her hand on my knee. I had suggested we study together this weekend and have a sleepover. I've got some new co-op games we can play after we hit the books. Don't worry, I'll be watching over you like a mathematical guardian angel. I smiled again, placing my hand on top of hers. Now there's a thought. Funny how the idea of Jessica watching me didn't scare me. In fact, I adored the idea. If Jessica were the one I caught staring at me all day long, every day, my heart would be pounding in elation instead of fear. It's so much better to be looked at by a sweet, pretty girl than it is to be watched by some weirdo who never talks to anyone. You really are an angel, you know? Wait, are we into Jessica? Are we bi? No. Do we just like girls? Wait. Are we into Jessica or not? Her thumb brushed back and forth lightly on my knuckle, and she tucked some of her hair back, the movement catching my eye. Oh, come on now. Was that same redness joining her freckles, or was I seeing things? I could feel my own face grow a bit warm, too, and suddenly I had a hard time making eye contact. I think we like Jessica! She drew her hand away to stand and realized that the other students had begun entering the room. Next class must be starting soon. I'll text you about the details, okay? She made a phone sign with her hand, shaking it aside her head before crossing the room back to her seat. I watched her for a moment, and I could feel my smile tugging at the corners of my lips. Then, like a sudden storm cloud shading out the sun, I felt a shadow of a dark gaze shroud me and steal all the warm, fuzzy feelings from inside me. Tyler must have entered the room. What if I'm crazy and Tyler's just like that dude from Sweetest Valentine who wanted to warn everybody about me because he knows that I murdered a bunny or something? And just like every other day this week, his eyes set on my back immediately. I didn't need to turn to confirm it, but I did anyway in spite of myself. I knew his head must have been up a second ago. I felt his eyes on me so intently. It couldn't have been my imagination. Yet there he was with his head down on his desk, hood drawn over to cover him, hiding his piercing gaze in the dark bags, shadows that made him look almost ghoulish on a daily basis. My pulse rang in my ear, mind somehow not confirming the fact that yes, he wasn't actually staring at me. Yet I was hyper-aware, refusing to believe that sight before me. What little Relaxation and reprieve I had enjoyed in his absence went right out the window, and with it my adrenaline began pumping. My mother's voice echoed in my head. Deep breaths, Sarah. You need to be the one in control. And I closed my eyes, focusing on my breathing. Are you sure we're just not going crazy and this guy's not even looking at us? Breathe in. Breathe out. It would do no one any good if I slipped into an episode right now. I bet you were like a really freaking weird murderer. An episode where we just like lose it and kill somebody. I absolutely cannot allow that to happen again. Not after what happened last time. Breathe in. Breathe out. What if it's just like our paranoid thoughts? Like Tyler's not even looking at us. Tyler's just sitting there minding his own business. The rest of my classes were lost on me as I attempted to keep my pulse and breathing under control. His eyes returned to my back almost as soon as I turned around, which made focusing on anything outside of that incredibly difficult. Before I knew it, the final bell had rung and the day was over. What if like Jessica secretly likes him or something, and we know that, and that's why we want to feel like killing him? I don't know. Walking home from school was lovely this time of year. The heat of the day had eased, making way for a cool night air. Autumn leaves crunched under my feet, and I took in the scent of wet grass from the rain earlier this week, letting it fill my lungs completely before letting it out. The light sound of crickets chirping and birds in the distance calmed me, and for a moment I let my thoughts drift into nothingness, simply enjoying the breeze. It wasn't often that I had the opportunity for such peace, especially nowadays, so I reveled in it. No thoughts, head empty. Honestly, by now, this was so much more preferred over how paranoid my mind had been recently. Tyler was the only person, the only thing at all that occupied my mind morning, day, and night, every school day. I don't want to be thinking about him so frequently, but I couldn't help it. After I noticed him watching me, it was like he took over my every thought. No studying, no time spent with friends. No time spent with Jessica either. Just him. I sighed. At least I was safe outside of school. Out here on this lonely yet lovely street surrounded by tall trees, completely alone and totally content. Enough and perfect for someone to kidnap you, like, I don't know, Tyler! The fact that she's so calm walking home alone without, like, anybody with her, like Jessica or whatever, after she knows someone's been technically stalking her in school, makes you think that she's a psychopath. Yeah, I knew it. I tense, stopping in my tracks. No way. The words left my lips before I had the thought to stop them, and I look around me hurriedly, trying to spot the source of this uncomfortable feeling. It was as if I were a tiny mouse out in the open, and a hawk had just spotted me. I would recognize his oppressive feeling anywhere after the last few weeks. It had to be him. It felt exactly like Tyler's eyes on me. Damn it! Now nowhere was safe? I took a deep breath, trying to ease my heart as I prepped myself to look around me again. The goosebumps on my skin felt as if centipedes were crawling over me, their tiny needle-like feet pricking me down my arms. I shuddered. Breathe in. Breathe out. My eyes filtered everywhere, then anywhere all at once, trying to spot him. Was he on the other side of the street? Was he just up the hill? No use. I don't see him. But just because I couldn't see him. But that doesn't mean he can't see me. Everything had quieted as I searched for him. The calming sound of the far-off birds and crickets in the grass were gone now. Only an eerie silence remained, as if those creatures around me realized the danger that lurked somewhere in the shadows. Uh-oh. I heard footsteps from far off, clicking against the pavement, and I wasn't about to wait to confirm if it was him before leaving. I say run. I turned, taking off towards home at a brisk pace. I couldn't run. I couldn't make it obvious I knew he was there, and that he scared me. Words from some Discovery Channel special flew through my mind. Don't let the predator sense your fear. And I was his prey. I also couldn't make my already out-of-control pulse even higher, risking an episode. He's really going to take this one last safe place from me? My last refuge from his gaze? I tried to put as much distance between us as possible. I can't believe this. It's like anywhere I went, there he was. I go to the lunchroom a bit earlier to beat the crowd, there's Tyler. After school in the hallways, there's Tyler. Even when I tried to go out of my way to avoid places at school I thought he'd go, there's Tyler. I go to sleep at night, there's Tyler. Again. And now I can feel his eyes on me here. In the streets. They scan my body over and over again, as if I were a broken barcode trying to read through my imperfections to figure out who I am. What I am. A twig snapped nearby, made me jump and increase my pace. I wanted to turn around, meet his gaze, make him stop. Just stop following me. But I couldn't. I was too scared. If he was following me like this, on the street already far away from the school which led down to where I lived, was he trying to figure out where I live? Was he following me home? I was almost running at this point, trying to put distance between me and that horribly oppressive gaze. It didn't matter to me that this pace was straining my lungs and sending my heart rate skyrocketing. I'll make it home soon. If I make it home, then I'll be safe. This mouse wasn't about to become a hawk's dinner. I'll escape that gaze. I'll outrun those claws that reach for my throat, wishing to pierce through and rip me apart. Go ahead and stare, Tyler. No matter how much you watch me, no matter how long you look, you're not going to learn anything. I'm not giving you anything to work with. And I won't become your prey. Oh, that's it? We didn't even get home! Why am I need to get all that whole drama just for me to go back to school again? A week had passed since I was nearly followed home, and since then I'd asked Jessica to walk with me most of the way so that I could feel safer. See, that's what I was saying. Why didn't you just ask Jessica to begin with? It definitely helped. Sometimes I'd still feel the eyes on me, but having her with me kept my mind off of it well enough. But today, it finally happened. He finally made his move. Granted, I was expecting his move to be like this, but I stared with wide eyes at the folded piece of paper placed on my desk before I even entered the room, its message repeating over and over in my mind. Meet me behind the school at 4 p.m. We need to talk. Tyler. Saliva filled my mouth as if I were about to vomit. I pressed my lips together in a thin line, trying not to let the bile rising in my throat make me gag as I focused on my breathing. Breathe in. Breathe out. He was directly asking me to meet with him. I would be a fool to actually go. Right? This is obviously a trap. Breathe in. Unless this could be the perfect opportunity to make him stop. Breathe out. To finally get to the root of the problem and ask him just why he's been watching me these past few weeks. Okay, I'll go. If only to bring this to an end. I sighed as the bell rang, feeling relief as soon as most of the class was out of the room, Tyler along with them. It's only been half a day. I love when the music changes because it's like, different me. It's only been half a day and my nerves were getting the best of me. There was no way I could eat lunch, so I stayed in the classroom. At least if I stayed here, I know I will run into him in the lunchroom. Oh, Jessica! Sarah! Jessica must have seen I remained in my seat and come over to check on me. Her expression clearly said that she was worried for me. When I asked her to walk me home, I hadn't told her why, just that I wanted to chat with her some more. But she took it at face value. Or so I thought. But I knew she could tell something was bothering me now. You okay? Her hand gently landed on my shoulder, and I knew that there was no use hiding it anymore. No, not really. I shook my head slowly as I answered. What's wrong? Is there any way I can help? She really was an angel. But I don't want to get her involved in this, just in case Tyler really was planning on hurting me. There was no way I could live with Jessica getting hurt too. So I told a half-truth. I'm really scared. Her brow furrowed in confusion before I continued. I feel like someone's been following me lately. Following me home. That's the real reason why I'd ask you to walk with me part of the way home, actually. She stood at me for a moment before closing her eyes. And she dug her phone out of her pocket and began tapping away something. Have you heard of these apps for women walking alone at night? I blinked, a bit surprised. That hadn't occurred to me. Oh, come on! Are you kidding me, Sarah? I can't even. Don't they also, like, sell devices for stuff like that, too? Like, wasn't there one device that I saw, I don't know, I think it was, like, a long time ago that came out that it was just, like, you press a button and then it just, like, starts screaming? Just do that! They'll scare the shishka-bowl out of Tyler. I really remember seeing an awareness ad somewhere online about one of them, but it had been so long ago that it never came to mind. Oh, hi, Sarah! Like my hair. She pulled a chair over and sat next to me, showing me her screen. Here, look at this. The app she pulled up looks simple overall. It gave instructions on the main screen and had an option to go to the screen for when you need help below it. I guess so that you didn't accidentally activate it. Basically, you keep your thumb on the screen during a situation where you feel in danger. If your thumb leaves the screen, it waits a bit before sending your location and a distress message to someone in your contacts. The user determined how long to wait is, but there were presets available for 1, 3, 5, or 10 minutes. If I were to use this, there's no real guarantee that help would arrive on time. I could very easily be hurt before anyone got to me. That thought made me shudder, and I mentally shook it away, going back to looking over the app. At the very least, this will let me know help is on the way, should I need it. Huh. That doesn't sound so bad. I close my eyes, taking in a deep breath, and slowly letting it out. If I'm able to keep myself in control, then there's a good possibility that, should he do something to me, that I might be able to prevent another incident. But then again, just the threat of danger is what caused it last time. Last time, it was the first time I'd slipped into an episode. And I hope it's the only time that ever happens. I wonder, did we kill our mother? I never want to relive what happened that day. I was practically out of my mind during the whole ordeal, and only remember bits and pieces of it. It was awful. And that poor kid. I told you, I'm a freaking psychopath. I called it. Alright, I'm playing too much of these games. I'm gonna become a genius. A hand softly landed on mine under the desk, and I opened my eyes, looking over to Jessica. She was staring at me, and I realized I hadn't said anything the whole time. This looks like it could help. She smiled. I hope so. At the very least, know that I'll come to your side no matter what time of the day it is. I bet you Tyler's just like some random dude that just wants to like talk, confess. I don't know. He's just like some random I'm gonna kill, aren't I? I'm just gonna kill Tyler. She straightened her back, puffing out her chest like a hero. If I get an alert, I'm finding you immediately. Got it? What an angel. My hero. I puffed on my own chest, putting on a comfy voice as I declared, my hero. Oh dear, Prince Charming, save me. I faked a swoon as well, other hand pressing against my heart in a dramatic movement for good measure, and we both laughed for a moment. Of course, that's what best friends are for. She blushed a little, looking away and squeezing my hand one more time before letting it go. Yeah, we're totally into Jessica. After that, we went over the app some more, and she helped me set up who to contact. I put her and my mother. Mom will know what to do. She has the same condition I do. Oh my gosh, it's a freaking bunch of like, oh gosh, what's it called? Like, hitmen, assassins, serial killers. It just runs in the family. It's in the blood. Oh my gosh, what happened to our father? She must have killed him. So hopefully she'll be able to calm me down if it gets out of control. This was excruciating. Not only was my stomach twisting from the thought of the note, from the planned meeting, but the staring hasn't let up at all. It was as if he was tearing my skin away layer by painful layer. I felt so exposed under his gaze. I just want him to stop it. Please, stop it. Please, just stop. Stop it. Stop it. Stop staring at me. I turned my head quickly, fearing and anticipating our eyes to meet, but they did not. His head was down, just like every other time I tried to catch him staring at me. Down. Facing his test paper as he scribbled something. Yet it still felt like his eyes were on me. I stared at him just as he had stared at me before, watching as his pencil moved with every scritch against the paper. Scritch, scritch. Scritching away with calculations and conclusions. Scritch, scritch, scritch. Is that the way you say that? He picked up his eraser. Squinch, squinch. What is this, a freaking tongue twister? The sounds were grating to my ears, but I could only focus on them and them alone. Sarah! Yes, Miss Hemingworth? My heartbeat flew into my ears as I turned back to face the front of the class, Miss Hemingworth's eyes fixated on me now. I felt embarrassed all at once under her gaze, a completely different sense of uncomfortable compared to when he stares at me, and I realize now that a few of my classmates' gazes has joined hers too. I brought my hand up to cover myself a bit from the scrutiny as I answered. Yes? What are you looking at? Nothing? I shook my head, ducking back down to my test paper. I need to focus on the test, not the inevitable meeting after school. This wasn't going to be easy. I don't know about this. I pulled out my phone, checking for the umpteenth time, and read over the instructions for the app I downloaded with Jessica yet again. Just keep my finger on the button. That's all I needed to do. You know, it's probably like a good thing that I have this app, because if I do end up going all psycho, you know, all murder-like, and I kill Tyler, at least Sarah will be able to, unless Sarah's just as crazy as me, and then we just become like freaking psycho buddies, just like sweet as Valentine. I don't know. I checked my phone for the umpteenth time, reading over the instructions for the app I downloaded at lunch yet again. Did I already read this? What? It was one of those apps where you keep your thumb on the screen during an interaction when you feel in danger. If your thumb leaves the screen, it waits 3 minutes before sending your location and a distress message to someone in your contacts. I'd seen some advertisements about it online months ago, but I never thought I'd need to use it. I put it away, taking in a deep breath in an attempt to calm my nerves. Walking down this alleyway, I was made hyper-aware of how narrow it was. The cafeteria back doors and dumpsters were on one side, and a fence along the line of trees lined the other. That made running away a bit difficult. There was only 2 directions to go. I'd never been back here before. Why would I have been? This isn't a place that students often go to. So why did he pick here to meet up? Maybe it really was so that he could attack me. My breath caught. This would be the perfect place to get me alone. Well, that's why I downloaded this app. If something happens, Mom and Jessica will be notified. I don't want to think about the if, though. I shook my head, pocketing my cell to keep my thumb on the screen, as I looked up and walked further into the alleyway. As soon as I was past one of the dumpsters, I saw him. Hey, Tyler! I tried to swallow the lump in my throat, walking forward but staying nearer to the fence line. He stood, lumbering near the back cafeteria doors, and turned towards me as I stopped. Good. You actually came. Never heard his voice before, but something about it made me jump. It was as if he wasn't used to talking, its coarse, gravelly texture grating against my ears and making me shudder. I couldn't even utter a response, so all I did was nod. He somewhat glared at me through his hair, under his hood, and I tried to glare back through my fear. Are you going to say anything? I swallowed thickly, opening my mouth to respond, but no sound came out. Tyler clicked his tongue at that, planting his feet and facing me fully now. I know you can talk, so say something. You came here to talk with me, right? He'd taken a half step forward, and now I suddenly realized I had already backed myself against the wall, unable to put any further distance between us. Take off your hood! If we were going to talk, then he should at least show me his face, right? He paused for a moment, seemingly taken back, and I tried to focus on calming my breathing. It was already getting out of control. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay, Tyler, you look pretty normal under there. What's up with that hair, my dude? You got more hair than brain. Jeez Louise. Tyler pulled his hood back, and the weight of his eyes on me made my chest feel like it was under compression. Like I'd suddenly been plunged into the icy depths of the Mariana Trench, and the pressure of 10,000 pounds was crushing down on me. I don't think I've ever been this close to him before, let alone with him watching me. It was suffocating. I look away immediately, closing my eyes to the unbearable scruntization. Yep. Are you freaking serious right now? His voice spat at me, and I could practically feel it hit me in the face. Like acid, it burned me and I winced. Freaking look at me! My eyes snapped open momentarily. He was physically pissed, his shoulders heaving with heavy breaths, and I averted my eyes to the ground. I'm not gonna stand here talking to you if you're not gonna look at me. You have absolutely no issues staring at me these past few weeks. You took another step forward. So why start now? What? What is he talking about? He's the one who's been staring at me. I knew it. I'm the crazy one. My eyes snapped open, staring at him as he approached me with slow, purposeful steps. There it is. Your relentless, freaking staring. He took another step forward, and I backed myself against the fence. You're the one who's been following me. He stopped, bro firing. The frick are you talking about? Following you? Why would I be following you? I bet you it's Jessica. How should I know? You've been following me home every day for the past week. You're lucky I haven't called the cops on you. He stared at me for a moment, glaring so hard I could practically feel his eyes piercing my skin like needles. Then he laughed. The kind of derived laugh one would give when calling out a joke. Oh, I see what you're doing now. You're trying to make me look like the bad guy here, aren't you? His hands flew up in the air, waving around bitterly. Teacher! Tyler's staring at me in class! His voice pitched up, making my mockery of my own. Mr. Policeman, Tyler's following me home! He spat at the ground, resuming his pointed approach towards me. What the frick is your problem? As if I don't get enough shit from everyone. You start staring at me all day long, every freaking day, and I've done nothing to you. So what's your freaking deal? His voice kept growing louder and louder, and I backed up as far as I could go, the sharp edges of the leaves sticking out of the fence behind me now, poking into me like tiny daggers. My pulse rang in my ears, and my face grew hotter and hotter. The sun must have come down to occupy my head for all the heat I was feeling, and my hands flew up to my temples as I groaned with the pain. No, not now. This can't be happening now. Pain sliced through my back, tearing my flesh into ribbons. I opened my mouth to scream, but no sound came. What the frick? My eyes trained on Tyler again, barely registering his look of horror through the intense throbbing of my body. What the frick? Am I some freaking animal? What? Am I a monster? Some freaking mythology creature? His eyes flew open wide, and he took a step back from me as the tearing and ripping sound continued. What the frick is happening to your face? I wasn't aware of it until he said it, but the sounds were coming from me. My skin ripped apart and my bones cracked and snapped as I changed form. I knew exactly what was happening now. The same thing that happened 3 years ago. I was in danger. He was so close to me. I need to protect myself. What? Yeah, Tyler, maybe you should freaking run. I don't know about you. Ew! Okay, wow, chill. Holy. Oh gosh. Well, there goes... did you eat him? Did you freaking eat him? Wow, how'd it taste, huh? Good old Tyler. That's so much better. My mind finally felt at peace, knowing those eyes would never land on me again. I don't know why I didn't do this sooner, honestly. This solved all my problems. I licked my lips. Surprisingly, he didn't taste half bad. Mom might be a tad bit upset though, when I tell her I'm not hungry for dinner. But that's a small price to pay for how content I've now felt. All was right with the world now. Ending 1 of 2. Eliminated. You've unlocked the extra menu now. Oh, heck yeah. Oh wait, but before that, actually, let's try to get the second ending. I smiled at her and laced my fingers with hers. Gosh, she really is like an angel. Thank you so much. Oh no, I could hear my throat clenching up. I don't want to cry right now. Not when I feel so relieved to have her support. So what, like I killed Jessica in the second one? I quickly closed my eyes, not wanting the tears to fall, and I felt Jessica scoot closer to me. Her hand moved to carefully hold my back of my head, and the next thing I know I felt lips pressed against my temple. Jessica! What the heck? I'm a freaking murderer. I'm gonna eat you one day. You know that, right? My eyes flew open then, not quite believing what I was feeling. But there she was, kissing my head. Jessica? I stammered out her name a bit louder than I expected, making the both of us jump, but she didn't move from where she was. It's a protection charm. What? What? This music's so loud. What? What the heck is this? A freaking Disney movie? I didn't come here for lovable things. It's supposed to be the spooky season. Though I couldn't see her face, I could hear how flustered she was as her voice shook lightly. I don't want you going anywhere unprotected. So I'm casting a spell. As your guardian angel. My lips pressed into a thin line before a smile spread across them yet again. My heart felt like it had soared up into the clouds, of which she must have fallen from. Yes, of course. So romantic. I backed away and finally I could see the blush that was on her cheeks, which mirrored my own. You know I'm here for you, Sarah. Seriously, how is everything made better when you're near? I know. Thank you. We stared at each other for a moment, and I wondered if she might kiss me for real this time. No, please don't do that. Not in front of me. Please, no. Not on the side of my head, but on my... And moment over. Thank goodness. We're safe, people. Suddenly there was a noise out in the hallway, and we quickly pulled apart from each other, awkwardly looking anywhere else in the room as the bell rang out. I should, get back to my seat. Looks like lunchtime is over. Right. Jessica hurriedly crossed the room to her seat, and I busied myself with my mechanical pencil, needlessly clicking it as if I were trying to get a new lead through the tip. I can't believe that really happened. My body was lighter than air, and I felt so much better than before. Cool, you're not gonna kill Tyler now? Unfortunately, despite having Jessica's spell cast on me, I couldn't feel completely at ease. Poor Tyler, man. Just trying to live his life. Told you. Tyler was innocent. Yes, Mrs. Hemingworth? No, I was just being a psychopath. Don't worry about me. Let's see. His voice kept growing louder and louder as I backed up as far as I could go, the sharp edges of the leaves sticking out of the fence behind me now poking me into me like tiny daggers. Yeah, we read this. Alright, that's quite enough! Jessica! Oh, so Tyler doesn't die. What? My eyes flew open to look at the person who appeared next to me, seemingly from nowhere. Jessica? She didn't even glance my way, stepping forward to put herself between Tyler and me, with her arm outstretched. Where did you come from? Have you been behind the dumpster this entire time? Wait, did Jessica see the whole thing? I look over to the dumpster, my rattled brain slowly putting 2 and 2 together that she must have followed me after class. Oh my gosh, she totally saw me eat Tyler that first one then. That doesn't matter. What does matter is that you two are blaming each other for absolutely nothing. Tyler scoffed, glaring at her with the animosity he'd just been aiming at me, and I unconsciously took a step forward towards Jessica to hide under her further. Oh, shut up. I bet she's the one telling you all about how I'm threatening her and following her. It's absolute bullshit. It is, Jessica. Jessica gripped Black just as fiercely, not backing down. Sarah hasn't said anything about you. Not to me, and I doubt to anyone else either. She's just been living in fear for the past few weeks because you both have been staring at each other under the delusion that the other was out to get them. Can't you see that from the conversation you just had? Tyler had looked like he was going to start yelling again, but instead took a step back, looking off to the side and thought. Guys, let's chill. She's right. We're just paranoid frickers and we all need therapy. Now that I think about it, she's right. All that we've said to each other just now. He hasn't been following me home. He hasn't been watching me. But I remember feeling his eyes on me every day. What is this music? It's freaking therapy music. I closed my eyes, trying to think back to the last time I actually caught him staring. Every time I looked over at him, his head was down, though. Was I just imagining it? Tyler? His head shot up, and though he was glaring at me, it wasn't anywhere near as intense as it was before. You haven't been watching me, right? He lets out a sharp sigh. Of course not! Why would I be? I just keep noticing you staring at me and wondering what the frick I did. Jessica reached behind her and took hold of my hand as he continued. I was so thankful for her support. Then you start spouting nonsense like I've been following you home? I don't get why you think that, but I have no interest in following you anywhere. I just wanted to figure out why you've been staring at me. He stopped, looking away for a moment before meeting my eyes again. So, you were scared of me? And that's why you were staring at me? I nodded, and his brow furrowed as if he was getting angry again. I could see it building in him for a moment before he took in a deep breath to let it out slowly. This is so freaking dumb. He muttered it under his breath, but it was loud enough for me to hear. I looked down at my feet, taking in a breath myself before stepping out from behind Jessica to stand next to her as I addressed him once more. I don't know why I got so paranoid about you, but I'm sorry. Jessica squeezed my hand as if encouraging me to continue. I knew apologizing at this point was the right thing to do. We were both in the wrong. He seemed to think so too, and he nodded, stuffing his hand into his pockets grumpily. Me too. For yelling at you so much. An awkward silence spread between us then, and I turned away from Tyler, instead looking over to Jessica. She had been watching me and smiled when our eyes met. Her hand moved to lace her fingers together, and I could feel a smile of my own forming too. Feel better now? I nodded. Thank you. I was so scared that I wasn't registering any of what he said. I just heard and felt the anger. Her other hand came up to cup my face, thumb lightly brushing back and forth over my cheek. Guys, right in front of Tyler? Right in front of poor, sad, lonely Tyler? That's why I came out. That, and I couldn't keep back while he practically screaming at you. She glanced over at Tyler, and he stiffly cleared his throat before speaking up. I just get a lot of shit for being, well, the quiet kid at the back of the room. He looked at me. I guess I was taking it out on you. A rueful smile crossed my lips. His lips. Sorry again, just stop staring at me, okay? I nodded, agreeing. We'd had more than enough of this misunderstanding gawking between us. He looked satisfied with that and turned towards the other direction. Bye then. And with that he left. Jessica watched him go. As soon as he was out of sight, her arms wrapped around me, holding my hand to my chest. Oh, the freaking angel sing the moment freaking Jessica touches me. Holy crap. I practically stuttered, frozen for a moment, before slowly hugging her back as she let out the deepest sigh I've ever heard. Jeez, that was so stressful. I couldn't see her face, but the relief in her voice was obvious. You were so afraid of someone following you, and so secretive about this weird meeting that I had to see what was happening. She pulled back to look at me. I'm glad I did. You're lucky you were about to have a panic attack and collapse in on yourself. Oh my gosh, if only that's half of what was gonna happen, Jessica. I was gonna turn into a giant-ass monster, and I was going to eat Tyler's face off. Her hand returned to my cheek, but this time it was to lift my face as she looked over my expression with concern. You sure you're okay? My hand landed on hers as I smiled. I don't know if it showed on my face, but my heart felt so full with her being here. My spirit lifted with every little touch and gesture. Of course I'm okay. You're here. Jessica's smile grew even wider, and I gave a small laugh. I can't believe you actually came to my rescue. I told you I would, didn't I? I laughed again, gritting so hard my face almost hurt. She took a step back, gently lifting my hand to her face. No, what is this gentle Disney music? After all. Her lips brushed against my knuckles, my breath caught in my throat. I'm your guardian angel. Wow, smooth. Smooth, Jessica. All right, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. Gosh, dang. Ending 2 of 2. My angel. Interesting. Thanks for playing. I had a lot of fun writing this and creating my first piece of horror media. I've always adored horror and I'm super happy to have been able to make this. Big shout out to the Spooktober VN Game Jam. Gosh, I don't know what VN means. And the Dev Talk Discord server for inspiring me to make this. If you enjoyed the game, please leave a comment. I love reading all your comments. It really makes me inspired to continue making things. Morphi. Thank you for playing. Wow, thank you. You just scarred me for life. That's all. All right. Let's look at the extras. Concept art. Oh, okay. Ooh, that's a good icon. Little eyeball. Jessica. Jessica and Tyler pretty much look exactly the same. His hair's just bigger here for some reason. Ah. I see. He didn't really have a lot of expressions, did he? Lines and base color. Yep. Right. Did we ever see this? I think we did. Yeah, we did. We did. Ooh, yes, this is what I wanted to see. Is this what the heck I look like? Or is this was just the initial concept? Because I don't think does this how I look like or not? I'm not really sure. Let me see if there's more. Yeah, this is what I look like, 100%. What the heck is this? Gosh, I'm so goopy and disgusting. Do I even have organs in there? Okay, the rest is fine. Let's see, characters. Got Jessica. Jessica is Sarah's best friend and crush, a ray of sunshine illuminating Sarah's dull world, and the first person who talked with her when she moved. Interesting. An unfortunate victim of paranoid delusion, when he finally gathers the courage to confront the strange girls who's been staring at him every day, it ends up in his death. Unless the second one, Tyler's good now. He's good. I saved his life. I'm good. Our protagonist and misleading Desmond in distress. 3 years ago, her condition exacerbated, causing her to transform and consume one of the neighborhood kids. In order to hide the true nature of the woman in their family, her parents decided moving across the country was the best decision. With her mother's guidance, she's been able to keep it mostly under control with meditation. Aha! I see. Scenes. End animation. Oh, I get to see it again? Oh, that's nice, sweetie. That's nice. Okay, I actually don't want to... Oh, okay, I guess we are going to see it again. Yeah, you know, just for good measure, you know? I just don't want to forget that this ever existed. You know, that we just, like, popped apart like a freaking piñata. Well, then, that was He Watches Me. It was good. I liked it. I mean, I kind of guessed that she was the bad guy, but I was not expecting her to turn to some freaking mythology beast, rip herself in half, and then eat the mother flipper. I thought she was going to, like, quickly just stab him or something. I don't know. Train, shut the heck up. What the heck is happening out there? The train is losing it. I cannot imagine the plot twist inside of this. I mean, in the end, it was spooky, so it really did do its job. You know, it was scary, and it was good for October because it's the spooky season, so yeah. So anyway, thank you guys for coming to my Masquerade. I upload every Wednesday. If you guys want to check out Sweetest Valentine Part 1, which is something a little like this, then you can click on the video on the screen now.